Eala has effectively forced the administration at Indian Wells to completely overhaul their crowd management strategy as the ticket market continues to reel from her impact. It is more accurate to say that the BNP Paribas Open did not simply invite Eala to the tournament, but rather that she redefined the event by making it a stop on her personal tour.
Support in Indian Wells. Look at this. I mean, this was in Australia. Court 6 literally had a line. I know I'm exaggerating, but it went for miles at the Aussie. It was wild scenes there. Allie, can you remember a women's star who gets this type of support wherever she goes?
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift. I mean,
there you go. Yeah, for sure.
For the first time in the history of the Women's Tennis Association 1,000 events, officials went public with a statement regarding a player outside the elite rankings. Even though she was ranked 31st globally at the time, the so-called Eala Effect was already causing a total logistical logjam at the practice courts. Supporters were not even waiting for the main draw to begin, as members of the Filipino community from all over California began swarming the grounds. With the state being home to nearly 2 million people of Filipino descent, every single training session felt like a high-stakes championship match before a ball was even served. These massive crowds were not showing up for the finals or the semifinals, but were packing the stands just to watch her run through basic drills and practice sets. Between the chaos of those packed courts and the data coming from analysts at Pro Tennis Stories 360, a massive ticket frenzy was officially confirmed. Demand for tickets began to surge at rates that completely shattered any previous expectations for the early rounds of a professional tournament. One central question became impossible for the tennis world to ignore. How did a single player from the Philippines turn a major North American event into a sellout before it started? The answer to that mystery began on March 26, 2025, when she entered the Miami Open as a wildcard ranked 140 in the world. Her opponent that day was Iga Swiatek, the world number 2 and the most dominant and intimidating force in women's tennis at the moment. What occurred on that court was not a fluke or a typical underdog story, but rather a methodical and systematic dismantling of one of the world's best. Her left-handed serve, hitting 90 miles per hour on the first delivery and 75 on the second, created angles that left her opponent completely out of position. She masterfully forced her opponent into committing 32 unforced errors while remaining incredibly composed herself, making only 12 throughout the entire match. Her efficiency was most visible on breakpoints, where she successfully converted 8 out of 10 opportunities, resulting in a staggering 80% success rate. When the final score of 6-2, 7-5 was recorded, her prize money of $332,160 nearly doubled her entire career earnings. Her ranking skyrocketed by 65 positions in just 7 days, moving from 140 to 75 and securing her spot in Grand Slam main draws. This single performance accelerated major sponsorship deals and forced the Women's Tennis Association to completely recalculate their commercial strategy for the future.
I'd have to say maybe a little bit of Sonia Mirza. Back in her heyday, obviously the Indian fans took to her and they followed her all around the globe, obviously not to this extent. And I think the ceiling that Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm gonna bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game. And alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money. So I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
Yeah. But that single victory in Miami is only one part of the story and does not fully explain why the ticket markets in Dubai went into a total meltdown a year later. However, that single victory in Miami is only one part of the story and does not fully explain the total meltdown witnessed in the Dubai ticket markets nearly a year later. To truly grasp the scale of this shift, one must analyze what financial experts and sports analysts are now describing as the portable home court advantage. While the majority of elite athletes rely on a single home city for their primary support, Alex can tap into a massive community of 1 million overseas Filipino workers in Dubai. When combined with the nearly 2 million Filipinos living in California, she effectively brings a raucous and loyal home crowd to every major stop on the international circuit. Throughout the 2026 Middle East and North American tour cycles, this demographic presence became a constant factor at almost every single tournament stop. During the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, her commercial influence was no longer just a theory, but was clearly measurable in hard currency. Initial tickets were priced at 65 dirhams, which is roughly $17.70, but that was merely the baseline for entry into the event. On February 17th, she stunned the tennis world by defeating the 8th-ranked player and defending Dubai champion Jasmine Paolini, 6-1 and 7-6. After rallying from a 5-6 deficit in a high-stakes second-set tiebreaker, experts noted that the stadium atmosphere was unlike anything ever seen at a 1,000-level event. The secondary market reacted almost instantly, with reports of massive resale premiums for her upcoming quarterfinal sessions appearing within hours of her victory. For many fans in that region, the original 65 dirham face value had quickly transformed into a starting bid rather than a fixed price ceiling. It was at this exact moment that her fellow competitors on the tour began to publicly validate what the financial data was already suggesting to the world.
She's got a smile that lights up a room too, you know, and I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, you know, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. You know, obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now, than 32 in the world, but she's got a lot of good hand-eye coordination and ability to take the ball early and redirect. But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
It's interesting, Ali mentioned Sonia Mirza. She has nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. That's 5 million more than Carlos Alcaraz, and nearly as many as Alcaraz and Sabalenka combined. So that's how big Sonia Mirza is, was, and will be. But Eala going to be seeded for the first time at a 1,000. To find out who she will play in the second round, check out the draw.
Goff acknowledged that Eala is reaching a demographic and expanding the Women's Tennis Association's market in ways that her own championship results had not yet achieved. Jessica Pegula echoed these sentiments, specifically highlighting Eala's unique ability to sell out stadiums and generate immense interest regardless of the round being played. These observations were not merely friendly gestures, but were calculated market assessments provided by the most elite figures in professional tennis during post-match press conferences. The institutional response from the Women's Tennis Association was just as swift, leading to the announcement of the first-ever Philippine Women's Open 125 event. Prior to this historic development, the Philippines had never hosted an official Women's Tennis Association-sanctioned tournament in its entire history as a nation. The sheer momentum of the Eala Effect forced this expansion to happen within a single calendar year of her breakout performance at the Miami Open. Beyond the flashy headlines, the underlying data reveals a story that much of the mainstream media coverage has completely overlooked until this point. In 2025, she was officially recognized as the most searched female personality in the Philippines, according to Google's annual search data report. She also secured the 4th spot among all sports figures searched in her home country, trailing only the massive global markets for professional basketball and boxing. Beyond the court, she has transformed into a digital phenomenon, officially ranking as the most searched female personality in the Philippines throughout 2025. Within the competitive world of sports, her search volume was so massive that she secured the 4th spot overall, trailing only the titans of professional basketball and boxing. The digital engagement metrics are even more staggering. With a single pre-tournament press conference for the 2026 Australian Open garnering over 170,000 views, online highlight reels celebrating her exceptional skill have easily surpassed 254,000 views, as fans flock to digital platforms to witness her greatness. Her intense tiebreak performances from the 2025 United States Open reached an even higher stratosphere, pulling in over 1.2 million views on YouTube. By early 2026, her Instagram following had swelled to approximately 850,000, making her one of the most influential athletes on the entire tour. What makes this social media dominance so unique is that she achieved these numbers while sitting outside the top 10, a feat rarely seen in the history of the sport. In fact, she had not even broken into the top 30 until February 23, 2026, proving that her popularity far exceeds her official numerical ranking. On that historic day, she became the highest-ranked Filipino player in the history of the association by officially reaching world number 31. However, the most fascinating metric of her stardom is not found in a ranking or a view count, but in a viral report that surfaced in September 2025. A rumor spread like wildfire claiming that Wilson Sporting Goods had offered her a staggering $45 million endorsement deal, which she had allegedly accepted. When fact-checkers investigated, they discovered the story was a total fabrication, as neither the brand nor the athlete's team had ever issued such a statement. Despite being a complete hoax, the story gained incredible traction because it aligned with the public's perception of her massive commercial potential and market value. While that specific deal was fiction, her actual portfolio of verified sponsorships is legitimate, diverse, and continues to expand at a rapid pace. She has been a Nike athlete for over 5 years, and her portrait is now displayed at their global headquarters in Oregon alongside the greatest icons in sports history. Her long-term partners also include Globe Telecom, a company that recognized her extraordinary potential and signed her as an ambassador when she was only 8 years old. Her professional equipment is provided by Babolat, while her financial and lifestyle endorsements include the Bank of the Philippine Islands and the brand Locally Juice. This expanding portfolio is a testament to her marketability, but the $45 million rumor serves as a powerful indicator of how the world values her future. The discrepancy between her current contracts and her perceived ceiling is so vast that a multi-million-dollar fabrication felt entirely plausible to millions of people. As of March 3, 2026, she entered the Indian Wells draw as the 31st seed, earning a prestigious first-round bye for the first time in her career. With her prize money earnings for 2026 already totaling nearly $292,000, financial analysts are projecting a record-breaking year. If she can maintain her position within the top 35 through the Grand Slam season, she is on track to surpass $1 million in annual prize money. Beyond her personal earnings, media experts are predicting a massive revaluation of broadcasting rights across the Philippines and the Middle East due to her influence. This shift is being fueled by the record-breaking viewership numbers attached to her matches and the ongoing controversy surrounding ticket availability and pricing. The central conflict at every tournament she enters has become the massive gap between official ticket prices and the astronomical rates found on the secondary market. Fans are consistently finding that the face value of a ticket is merely a suggestion, as the actual cost of entry detaches from reality whenever she takes the court. Looking ahead at the Indian Wells bracket, fans and analysts are already anticipating a potential high-stakes third-round rematch against the formidable world number 4, Coco Gauff. This potential matchup is already being tracked by the same data experts who witnessed the unprecedented ticket surge during her previous quarterfinal run in Dubai.